guys, and welcome to my channel. It's your friendly neighborhood angel here to give you some life advice. Here I give you cheap, easy vegan meals and help you with a transition into a plant-based lifestyle. And with Thanksgiving coming up, I thought this might be a great opportunity to tell you some tips and tricks on how to navigate telling your family that you don't want to eat meat, or whoever else decides to give you a bit of a hard time. Or who just have questions. Some people just have questions about veganism and they don't really understand, or vegetarianism if you're a vegetarian too. So my first tip is preparation. Come in prepared. I like to have a bit of a snack before I go places so that if there isn't food that I can eat, I don't get hangry, I don't get stressed, I can just eat the bits and pieces that do work for me. You could make food going into Thanksgiving as well. You could make a big dish of something to share with everyone. Most of the time, even if you make something for yourself, if it looks good, people are gonna wanna try it. I remember one Thanksgiving, everyone was eating turkey and stuffing and I didn't have any of that. And then they were all laying on the couch, holding their stomachs, saying how full they were, how tired they were. And I was like, I'm ready to go for a run. We're good. I wouldn't have changed it for anything. A couple options of things that you could make are like a quinoa salad, or you could bring a vegan shepherd's pie. I have a friend who does that. And if you're not sure about what to do, you could just aim for silence. Some people just don't say anything. Sometimes your family doesn't even realize what you do or don't eat. If it's buffet style, don't stress about it. And also go in not expecting them to change their beliefs. It's a long process for most people. For me, I stopped eating meat when I was 8 years old just because I really like my dog and I couldn't imagine eating my dog, so that's basically why I stopped eating meat. And for me, it was an 18-year process to get from being vegetarian to being vegan and understanding more about it. It's a long process, and for some people, they don't really want to think about the fact that they could be doing something that harms animals, or to understand that animals do feel pain, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. But if you bring some delicious food, feel free to convert your family into being vegan acceptors at the very least. So my second tip is to educate. So come in having where you can get your nutrients. So they're going to ask you about your B12. B12, take a supplement, it's made from plants, done. Boom. Most people who do eat meat are still B12 deficient. About 40% of people tested in America were B12 deficient, even though they ate meat. And this has to do with the fact that we don't get food the same way, we don't scavenge for it, and so the soil doesn't have as much B12 in it, and you're not getting the B12 from the food in the ground, and then the animals aren't getting the B12 from the food in the ground, and then you're not getting the B12 from the animals. So B12, everyone should be supplementing it. It's also water soluble, which means if you get too much of it, you pee it out, so there's actually no harm in taking B12. Oh, I forgot about iron. So if they ask about iron, where do you get your iron? Dark leafy greens, fortified and enriched foods. Lots of options. And then finally, my favorite is protein. Ask them how many people they know who've died of a protein deficiency. Probably none. Protein can come in, it's in so many foods. It's in beans, legumes, soy, edamame, which is soy. There's so many. Nuts, nut butters, protein bars. Come on guys, come on. I really like the movie Game Changers. It's directed by Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan, and they basically talk about how you can build muscle, you can get everything you need from plants, and it's a really great documentary. It also talks about how men have a harder time performing when they eat animal products, so for all the men in your family, I definitely suggest watching that. I showed this movie to my dad and his meat significantly cut down. I didn't even have to lecture him or anything. I just noticed him not having his chicken in his pasta anymore. I noticed it being beans. He's Italian. He grew up on basically just meat and potatoes and pasta and cold cuts. I think that movie really made an impact. You could try getting your family to watch it. Some of them might not watch it at all, but if you watch it, then at least you have some knowledge from it. Another good one that I've heard is Cowspiracy. I haven't watched that one. I also, okay, I don't know if you're gonna wanna do this, but I practice arguing online. I follow a lot of vegan influencers, and some of them will have comments on there just being like, well, bacon, or well, I'm still gonna eat meat, or well, I love animals, but I'm not gonna give up meat. And so I would just comment back. I don't suggest it. I mean, I do suggest it. It's kind of fun, and you learn a lot, and it's just strangers on the internet. Like, what are they gonna do? And so basically you can just like have a back and forth, get comfortable stating facts. And so when you get to being in front of your family, you're able to get your point across and it's not as intimidating. So after doing that, now when I'm talking to people about animals and animal rights and how animals are abused on a daily basis, millions and millions of them, it's a lot easier for me to have those conversations now that I've practiced with strangers. I have comebacks for pretty much everything. And so if someone goes, well, bacon, then I say, well, my taste buds are not more important than this animal's life. And if they decide that they are, that's fine. But then those are their morals. And I mean, what are you gonna do? So people just aren't gonna change their minds. Some people are perfectly fine being hypocritical. They'll say, I'm anti-animal abuse, but then they'll still be pro-meat, which I really don't understand. Anti-animal abuse, but pro-factory farming and death, like, or they'll say something like, my meat comes from a good place. You don't know that. You don't know where your meat's coming from. If you go to Puerto Rico, you're probably still gonna get a burger or pork or whatever, and then just assume that it's coming from a good place. I guarantee lots of these people have eaten plenty of abused animals and don't actually care. So it's like, no, your meat isn't only from places where it wasn't abused. And would you consider, if you had a child and then this child went into a factory farm and was killed when it was 12 years old, would that still be okay because they got to live a nice life up until that point? Probably not. Like, we're not okay with murder now. So whatever. I don't understand their beliefs and they don't understand mine, but I like to think that I try to be the least hypocritical that I can. And a lot of people will also say, well, you can't live a life that's completely not harming animals. Fair, but I want to do the best that I can to not be a part of it. If I don't need to hurt animals, then why would I? And if it's better for my health, it's better for the environment, like, I don't know. And the next tip I have is to be compassionate. And for me to get from that point to veganism took me 18 years. So if for your family to come to a point where they can accept you not eating meat, being vegan or vegetarian, sometimes that takes time. And that's okay. So just be patient with them. And it's not a nice realization when you come to the conclusion that you're doing something that's bad for your health, bad for the environment, and hurting unnecessarily. That hurts. And it sucks when I tell people and then they have that realization like, oh no, I don't want to hurt these animals. That sucks. And I don't like the feeling that that gives people, but I don't like the feeling of animals getting abused even more than I don't like the feeling of that hurting people's feelings. These people are probably looking out for you. It's also likely because people don't like to be told that they're wrong, and you not eating meat is making them think that they are doing something wrong. Just trust yourself. You not wanting to hurt animals is okay, and they'll grow to accept you at some point. Even if they don't agree, eventually people will accept it. It's been so long for me that, I mean, you don't even think about it. And I remember people making rude comments in my family being like, oh, she's a vegetarian, like my family owns dairy farms. You say it, I've heard it. Challenging people's lifestyles does not usually end well. And if they think that you're challenging it even when you're silent and you don't say anything, then that's on them, and just live your best life and enjoy your vegan stuffing or whatever you decide to bring. They're going to be okay with it once they realize it's not a phase. And if they're not, then they're not compassionate people. And I'm really sorry that you have to deal with that, but there's lots of people out there who are willing to support you in your journey. Like me. Leave me a message if your family's not being supportive, and I will be supportive for you. But here's the thing. If your family decides to start making fun of you and attack you, I honestly have no patience for that. I am a very direct person. I'm completely okay standing up for myself. And I've had people bully me for being a vegetarian. I've had people make fun of me and be rude about it. And I came up with a couple of things to say. First, animals suffer just as much as we do when they're dying, so why should they have to go through that? And then they'll probably say something like, well, it tastes good. And I'd be like, so does your dog probably, but you don't want to eat them. You can say vegetarians and vegans are less likely to get things like heart disease and cancer. That is the truth, because you're not getting all the fat from the meats. Vegetarians and vegans are less likely to be overweight. How many obese vegans have you met? Probably not a lot. Probably a lot less than you have people who do eat meat and dairy. Or you know what? Just show them my channel. Do I look malnourished? I don't think I look malnourished. I think I look fine. I think I look fine as hell. So you can slim down a little bit when you stop eating meat and dairy just because you're picking healthier choices. But if you want to be like curvy and vegan, just eat more pasta, eat more beans, eat more of whatever you want to eat, and you won't be malnourished. You just won't. As long as you do it right. Like if you're not eating apples and maple syrup all day, every day, you'll be fine. There's people out here judging vegans who will eat McDonald's all day, every day, who will eat burgers for lunch every single day, and then come at me and have the audacity to say, where are you getting your vitamins? I actually take vitamins every morning. Thank you very much. And I eat salads all the time. All of my meals have some kind of a vegetable in it. Well, most of them, but you know what? More and more people have become vegetarian and vegan over time. The way that I live my life has become more and more accepted. And when I say I'm vegetarian now, most of the time people just go, oh, that's cool. Whereas when I was younger, it was like, what do you eat? Vegetarian pizza, veggie burgers. There's so many things. There's so many things. And now the options are so good. I remember when I was younger, they had stuff like Daiya cheese and it was trash, but they've changed it and it's a lot better now. Or things like, what else did they have? I remember when I was maybe 10 years old, I had a vegan hot dog and it was the nastiest thing I've ever had in my life. It tasted like soap. It tasted like soap. And so I actually ended up getting violently ill afterwards. I think I might have had the stomach flu, or maybe there was something disgusting in that thing. I don't know, but this was more than 10 years ago. But everything's gotten a crap ton better since then. I'm perfectly happy eating veggie dogs now, but I didn't eat veggie dogs for like 10 years. So yeah, those are the tips and tricks I have for you guys. Definitely do your research, come prepared, and be patient with your family. I hope that this video was helpful, and I hope that you all have a great Thanksgiving and a great Halloween, which is coming up, which is why I keep dressing up in all of my videos. Anyways, have a great day, guys. And if you want to see some more recipes and lifestyle tips, check out my Instagram at samwasfound. And if you like this video, don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know what you would like to see next. If there's a recipe or any advice that you would like to hear, let me know. Leave a comment below, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.